beautiful soul. We are now on lesson 4 of our inner child healing series. And this one's going to be about emotional expression and play. All right. So we're learning to feel without feeling shame for our feelings. The intention is to restore some safe emotional expression and joy in our practices and in our life. So, again, this is part 4 of the inner child healing journey. If you have not watched the first parts, what are you waiting for, boo? Head on over, get the first parts of the series because those will help build some foundational principles that we've been discussing. And in this lesson, we're focusing more on learning how a lot of our early feelings felt like they were quote unquote too much, which ultimately meant that our caregiver couldn't handle our feelings. Maybe they didn't want to face them. Maybe they were intimidating. Whatever the reason was, our feelings were too much and we weren't allowed to feel these things per the perspective of our caregiver. So we're trying to reinstall that lens of fun and play. And let's go ahead and continue into the lesson. So, as I was saying, in previous lessons, many of us learned in our earlier years that some feelings were simply just too much, right? Our caregivers were like, go sit down, you're playing too much, you're laughing too loud, you're being too goofy, you're being too quiet, you're being too animated, right? Too much, okay? So today we're highlighting and inviting you into an expression of play to reconnect with that childlike joy and curiosity, right? The natural curiosity that asks why. We know the kids that ask why. Why can't I and why? During our practice today, we're going to incorporate some things into our time. First off, let's acknowledge when emotions aren't expressed, they don't just disappear into the abyss, okay? They get stored in your body. That's why learning to safely feel is a part of this healing process. Let's make sure to take a moment and just notice our feelings, even in this time surrounding this practice. We want to acknowledge our feelings whenever they arise. We want to begin to name them. You want to ask yourself in moments, even now as we begin this lesson, you may have some discomforts come up. Are you feeling trust? Are you feeling acceptance? Are you feeling fear? Are you feeling a bit of grief because you do have to release an old part of yourself, essentially let go of that old version of you? Are you feeling anger at those that have dropped you and maybe didn't teach you these lessons? Maybe some surprise about things that you're learning that maybe you didn't know before. Or maybe you're feeling serenity and acknowledgement, like a sense of being seen, right? So we're going to learn to allow our emotions to pass through. We're going to move through our emotions when we feel them without judgment, like watching clouds pass by. We're just going to let them flow. And that's what we do with our emotions. A lot of times our emotions show up and they're screaming at us, but they will last maybe 5 seconds. When we let them pass, when we feel them, we acknowledge them, right? When we don't acknowledge them, that's when they make that loud screaming, see me, see me. So in this moment, if it feels safe, you can get up, you can add some movement, put some music on, do some drawing, even do some gut laughter. I will tell you about my pranks in another short, but I was known to use laughter for all my life as a coping mechanism for trauma. And while I feel like it is still incorporated as a part of my personality, it definitely was a trauma mechanism in survival. And so if you use laughter a lot, do not be ashamed, my friend. I want you to take a moment in this time of the lesson because it's supposed to be light, joyful, less constructive. And I want you to acknowledge to yourself quietly, my feelings are safe, my joy is allowed. Again, my feelings are safe and my joy is allowed, right? As I shared before, many of us learned early that some of our emotions were just too much. They were too loud, they were too sensitive, too inconvenient for our parents and our caregivers. And that's most often because they were taught the same thing, right? So we are incorporating play and creativity and emotional expression back into our lives because those are often the first things that are suppressed in childhood. In this lesson, I'm inviting you to reconnect with your feelings, not to drown in emotion, right? We're not drowning, but to allow yourself to move through them safely. Your inner child does not need perfection. She just needs permission. She needs permission to feel, okay? And now we're at the part of the lesson where I'm going to take you through a guided practice. So as always, I want you to sit comfortably. It is a sort of a meditation. If you're familiar with prayer, it's similar to that, where we're going to close our eyes and we're going to get quiet and focused on today's intention. Today's intention is the emotional permission practice. And with this, we want to consciously allow ourselves to feel any emotion. We're practicing creating internal safety to experience sensations fully so we can stop avoiding them and building emotional intelligence in the process. All right? So as always, we're going to start with our breath. I want you to find a comfortable sitting position. And we're going to begin with 3 slow, deep breaths. Just slow, deep breaths, whatever count you can manage. Begin by inhaling and exhale. And again. And exhale. And again. And exhale. Your right hand on your chest and your left on your womb. Let us ask ourselves, what am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? Just begin to listen as you breathe normally. See the feelings that are passing through you based on information in the lesson, based on what you have going on today, based on where you're at in the season of life. What am I feeling right now? I want to feel throughout your body. Are you feeling it in your legs, in your hips, in your stomach, in your chest, in your shoulders, in your forehead, in your neck? What am I feeling right now? And you name the feeling without changing it, without introducing shame. We're just acknowledging, naming this feeling without changing it. It just is. I feel anxious. I feel worried. I feel strong. I feel happy. I feel lonely. I feel sad. I feel hopeful. I feel full of joy. I feel full of love. I feel grateful, right? As you process these feelings and giving them names, continue with your hand on your heart and your left hand on your womb and say to yourself, it's okay to feel this emotion. It's okay to feel this emotion. Welcome whatever feelings come after that. You may feel like fighting it. You may feel a little tension in your body because you're not used to hearing that. Remind yourself with your breath, returning to your breath, hand on your chest, relaxing your shoulders, releasing all tension, rocking if it feels comfortable. It's okay to feel this emotion. And if it feels safe, you can add some gentle movement in this moment if you're not driving. Some gentle movement. Create some space. You can bring out a coloring page or turn on some music in the background, right? Let out some laughter in this moment, okay? Whatever feels good in this moment. Humming, gentle tapping. You can do some tapping, okay? And tapping. It's okay to feel this emotion. It's okay to feel this emotion. It's okay to feel this emotion. That's a sample EFT of tapping. Remember, all expression is healing. When we're moving, when we're drawing, when we're laughing, we're incorporating that childlike sense back into our nervous system. We're letting her know she's safe, okay? Moving on to some journal prompts this week that I want you to work through as you ponder this lesson and what we're introducing so you can be a part of your own deeper healing. Because, of course, I can teach you the lessons, but to integrate it, you need to incorporate it into practice, into your nervous system, into your mental, your cognitive system. So, journal prompt number 1: which emotions felt unsafe to express growing up? Again, which emotions felt unsafe to express growing up? Journal prompt number 2: how do I usually respond when strong feelings arise? And we're doing this honestly, no shame. How do I usually respond when strong feelings arise? I want you to think of this question as putting a pin on the map. Where are you right now? It doesn't mean that if you are in Morocco, that you can't make it over to New Zealand, okay? The pin in the map lets you know I'm in Morocco right now. And then you get to map out, how do I get to New Zealand, okay? So how do I usually respond when strong feelings arise? Journal prompt number 3: what forms of play or creativity did I enjoy as a child? You're reflecting back on your most innocent moments, right? What natural forms of play or creativity did I enjoy as a child? Did I like to run? Did I like to laugh? Did I like water? Did I like solo play? Did I like creating art? Did I like friendship play? Did I like cutting things apart, taking them apart, putting them back together? What forms of play or creativity did I enjoy as a child? Journal prompt number 4: what would it look like to let myself feel freely? What would it look like to let myself feel freely? What does it look like for someone to feel safe to express and feel how they feel and know that it's okay? That you are okay to have these feelings, right? What would it look like to let myself feel freely? We're not talking about how we express it. We're saying letting yourself feel these feelings, okay? Journal prompt number 5: what emotion is asking to be acknowledged in this season of life right now? What emotion is asking to be acknowledged in this season of life right now? Okay, there's usually one emotion that's driving, and we tend to oppress it. We oppress it by being busy. We oppress it by distraction or distracting ourselves with relationships. We oppress it by getting sucked into work, into extracurricular activities, by just plain old pushing it down like a balloon underwater, right? We have other unhealthy modalities, right, that we can oppress it by: alcohol, drugs, cutting, self-harm. There's so many ways that we oppress emotion. And right now we're working on allowing that emotion to come through so we no longer have to hide from it or feel like we need to oppress it. Excuse me, your girl needs something to drink. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Moving on to the daily soul work. For this week, I want you to practice one thing. I want you to practice allowing one emotion each day to exist without fixing it. Just one. You don't have to allow every emotion to exist. You may have a moment where you say, oh, that was a horrible one. You have a lot of shame around it. You got to walk away from it. That is understandable. This is a practice. We're practicing allowing one emotion each day to exist. Okay. If I woke up on the wrong side of the bed and maybe in the morning I'm feeling a little anxious, I'm going to acknowledge that emotion. I'm going to welcome her in. I'm having an anxious moment. I'm having some anxious moments, and I'm going to go into my day maybe into the office with that lens that, hey, an awareness, I've had this emotion sitting on my shoulder. She's okay. I know she's here. She's safe. And I'm going to govern myself accordingly. Maybe that means you don't involve yourself in smaller chat as much as you normally would. Maybe that means you take a couple more breaks, going to the bathroom and breathing, stepping outside, deep breathing. We're going to allow these emotions, that one emotion each day, to exist, knowing that I don't have to fix it, that I get to be who I am, feeling how I feel, just noticing it, just allowing ourselves to feel, and honoring the present moment of leaning into what we need. Okay? Moving on to our affirmation for the week. Our affirmation for the week is, my feelings are safe to express. My feelings are safe to express. All right. Listen, beautiful soul, I am so proud of you for completing this journey. It is not easy to choose you and to choose to do introspective work. All right. I would venture to say 85 to 90% of the population does not do this. And in order to get out of the cycles that you've been in, the generational curses that we've been living in, we have to be the change we want to see. And so I'm so proud of you. Pat yourself on the back for joining this journey and for doing the work. It's not easy. And if you needed to take more than 1 week on each lesson, still pat yourself on the back. The goal is to get the work done. All right. In part 5, we're going to go even deeper. We're going to talk about healing, abandonment, and neglect. If you're enjoying this journey, if you're enjoying this content, definitely share. Invite a friend to come on this healing journey with us. You can subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. All right. Many blessings.